Greetings, everybody. Gleekon here again with another episode of Lore of Warcraft. In the last episode, we talked about we did the Let's Play of the humans, where they sent some forces down into Hillsbrad to just start building communities that would be defended with barracks and ostensibly would start beefing up the region with the forces of Stormwind's communities, so that because war is probably approaching, and we fought a couple orcs. Notably, in the first level, the big difference is that the orcs fight both humans and elves, whereas the humans only fight orcs. So there's a story to be had there for whatever reason. There are little subtle differences that are there with each level too that we'll try to notice. So in the end of the episode before that, the Alliance was rallied, and we read some of that in the books, that Tyrannus was pro, and according to Chronicles, Turalyon also played a big role, and maybe they're just kind of shoehorning him in because he is currently such a figure, and they wanted to build his history. He's here mentioned as a member of the church, a priest. Uther seems to fill more of that priest that becomes a paladin. We'll see how that goes in this episode, because I believe this one's all about the knights. But here's a picture of Turalyon at the Council of the Seven Nations, just advocating we should all join together, and they do. They agree. While Gilneas and Paranold's Alterac, or whoever they are reluctant and may become turncoats or pull out. Stay a while and listen to this one. It's called the Order of the Silver Hand, which is the order of the Paladins in the Alliance. As the human forces amassed, Lothar made other preparations. The Alliance was composed of disparate nations, some of which were rivals. They all had different customs and ways of life. Lothar needed something to bind them as one. He needed champions whom every human could rally behind, no matter where they came from. The clerics were the most obvious choice to fill this role, but they hadn't fared well in the First War. They're pretty good with their invisibility and healing. Though they were brave, they lacked martial training. That's true. Clerics were better suited to using the holy light to mend wounds off the battlefield. Lothar needed something else. And although the priests that do come, they are, priests in World of Warcraft, those that main a priest would disagree. The solution came from the Church of the Holy Light. Archbishop Alonsus Fowl had recently learned of everything that had transpired in Stormwind, including how the clerics had fared. He met with Lothar and proposed forging a new order, one that would represent the best qualities of humanity. It would comprise soldiers who were skilled not only in wielding the light, but also in leadership and the arts of traditional warfare. Okay, and in the manual, they mentioned that as well. I believe that it was, and Alonsus Fowl is technically the seventh nation. With Lothar's permission, or I don't know, but he's part of it. I don't know where we're getting this number 7 from. With Lothar's permission, Fowl recruited a handful of knights to form this new order. These individuals all showed an aptitude for the Holy Light, and they also exemplified the qualities of loyalty, bravery, and honor. Fowl called his students the Paladins, and their group was named the Order of the Silver Hand. The Order's members were revered individuals from Lordaeron. There was Turalyon, the priest who had helped forge the alliance at the Council of Seven Nations. Okay, but he was a priest, so he's more like other way around. He's a priest that looks like he could also be a butt-kicking knight. There was Saidan Dathrahan, a mountain of a man who was gifted with immense physical strength. Then there was Tyrion Fordring, a knight renowned for his zeal and resilience, and his story is important. Lastly, there was Uther. He had already apprenticed under Fowl for some years, and he was an accomplished knight and a pious believer in the Holy Light. Okay, so that's good that they kept Uther in that role. Lothar, although in the manual, as we just saw a few episodes back, Uther was really the number 2, and all these people were not mentioned. Lothar also sent one of his comrades from Stormwind to undergo paladin training, Gavinrad the Dire, a battle-hardened knight who had fought in the First War. Fowl welcomed this student with open arms. They keep coming back to that Gavinrad guy. I do not recognize that name. Maybe it's a Warcraft 3 thing, but obviously they're building him up for some reason. The city of Stratholme would later serve as the Paladins' base of operations. Yet, for the time being, Lothar kept them close, ordering them to travel alongside the main Alliance army. Oh, I didn't realize Stratholme, which is like hardcore deep Forsaken zone, not even Forsaken, Scourge zone, is the original Paladin base. Day and night the holy warriors were trained vigorously. Fowl taught them how to use the light to comfort their allies and smite their enemies, and also how to lead by example. They would be more than just weapons. No matter how dire times became, the Paladins would serve as lights in the darkness, as beacons of hope to guide the Alliance. And that's true, they're like a butt-kicking combo of the knights and the priests. So, according to this Chronicles, also we could push up. This is writing this a check to get as far in the game. I'm guessing at least 4 or 5 levels to get knights and paladins. So that pushes us like halfway through the game. But that's what I meant about the out of order things. Fowl instructed his paladins to live simple lives. They would seek no fortune or glory in war. Until the end of their days, they would put the needs of others above their own. As training progressed, Fowl presented a set of enchanted librams to the paladins. These holy tomes were some of the church's most ancient relics. Each libram represented what Fowl saw as a core trait of the Silver Hand: retribution, holiness, protection, justice, and compassion. Look at that. It's the specs, for the most part, of WoW paladins. Ret, holy, and protection. Those are your 3 main specs now. So you're a 2-handed wielder that fights, and particularly good at PvP. Holy, you're the healer. Protection, you're a tank. Justice and compassion, not sure. Fowl gave... So it's almost like they're like a Ronin Warriors style of thing. You ever seen that cartoon show? An old semi-obscure cartoon where each of them are like having their own, or they're like the Captain Planeteers. Like they each have their own little ring, their libram, and they each have their own little power. It's actually kind of cool. Fowl gave 1 libram to each of the paladins. He challenged his students to become living embodiments of what their holy tomes represented. Turalyon would hold the libram of protection. Okay, so Turalyon is like the ultimate tank. Uther would hold the libram of justice, whatever that may mean. We don't know how justice works out. Tyrion would hold the libram of retribution, so Fordring becomes the Ret Pally. That's cool. Sidon would hold Sidon would hold the libram of holiness, so he's the healer, and Gavinrad would hold the libram of compassion. Who the heck is this guy? And how does that look? Lothar often checked in on the emergent order of the Silver Hand. He was so pleased by what he saw that he asked for Turalyon and Uther to serve as his lieutenants. Fowl was happy to accommodate the Supreme Commander, but he did not release the paladins from his care yet. It would be weeks before they were ready to set foot on the battlefield. Okay, so they're traveling with them, but as of right now, I guess so we're not quite there yet, because as of right now, it's just 5 dudes. And you can certainly have more than 5 paladins in the battlefield. This is a whole cool thing. Like, I just expected to get the story of the paladins here, and I didn't realize there were like 5 Ronin warriors that have their unique power. And I don't know why, that is a cool thing to me. And tied into the specs. All right, another episode in the pipes, 5x5. I look forward a lot to doing the next one with you guys. See you on the next episode of Lore of Warcraft.